Hello guys, I'm Super Ron, welcome back to the channel and we are back down the G unit and we are back with my Mark 5 Golf again. You've seen this car many times on the channel, it is now just clocked 246,000 miles and this is my daily driver. It's never let me down, but as you've seen from the thumbnail and getting it in off the trailer, it is dead. But it is no fault of the Golf. Last week I was helping my mum and my uncle transporting lots of logs. I was a driver, so I was just in a truck and trailer all day, transporting logs to and forward to the storage in a nice comfy Ford Ranger from the most common place you do find logs, in a forest. And in a forest, there's no great roads, it's all kind of farm tracks getting down to it. No problem in the Ranger, but I used the Golf to meet everybody there. So the track down to it was really bumpy, I could hear some scuffing and some bumping underneath and carried on, parked up with them, got the first load loaded, went off in the truck and trailer back down the track, but then on my way coming back, I got halfway down and I noticed a black stripe in the middle of the track. Straight away I knew exactly what it was. Someone has cracked the bottom of their engine and it is leaking oil. So I followed the trail all the way back and it is where our cars were parked. So it'd either be my car or my mum's car. Either way I knew I was going to have some work to do. Unfortunately I looked underneath and there was a big pile of oil sitting under the car, pulled the dipstick out and it was empty. So although there is a big black stripe going along the road, it couldn't have been a massive leak because I managed to get all the way to the car park. No low oil level light, no oil pressure low warning light. The sump was still happily full of oil until I parked and then the rest of it came out when the engine was off. What would have happened if it all came out and I was still driving? Obviously the engine would have run dry and that would have been game over. But I don't think we've done any damage because not even the oil warning light came on and the sensor is well above where the pickup is. So when the oil level gets down to the sensor, that's your first indication there's a problem before it gets below the pickup height, because if it goes for that, it's just going to suck air around the engine and not lubricate the bearings. And also another lucky situation, we are now in the middle of a forest with a car that can't drive, but because I had the truck and trailer, I could actually recover myself, because I don't think the AA man would have got out there. So we just about squeezed it on the trailer. It was made to measure for the wheelbase, but as we tilted up on there, a load more oil came to the back of the sump and dripped all over the trailer, so it made a mess of that as well. So I think today is going to be a messy job. So I know the oil is not in the engine anymore. I don't exactly know why. We're presuming a cracked sump because they're cast aluminium, so any impact will just crack it, it won't bend. So the only way to find out is to jack it up and have a look. The under tray is full of oil at the moment, so I can't see myself staying very clean for this one. Oh. Right, let's get some cardboard down and have a look. That's where it's coming out of. So let's get this under tray off and see what we're actually dealing with. Got a drip on here already. This is here we go. Drippy drip. That's it there. That's got a massive great dent in it. I think that is where it is. Clean it up a bit and have a look. But looking around, doesn't look too bad to get off. There's nothing actually covering it. You can get to all the bolts, which is good news. A bit hard to see on camera. You can see it's got a big donk there. So it might have even hit the lowest point, which is the drain plug, and pushed all that out. But I can see a crack around here, which is where our problem is. So let's undo the sump nut, see if there's any actually left in there, and then just go around taking all the bolts out. Right, let's see if there's any left in there. And oh, there was. Must have been a little bit just stuck at the bottom. But not a lot left out of 5 litres. I just noticed the boost pipe is actually bolted to them. You can see there's 2 little bosses, one there and one there. They look like little Torx just going in there from that end. The other one, so we'll undo them, get all the little ones out, and drop, and off. That's loose off. Get in there. Right, that's all of it. Now it's just stuck on. And those well thought out Germans gave you a little step here to get a lever in and lever it off. So that should pop out. I just remembered, I don't know if you'll be able to see them, there's a couple of bolts just up there. One there and one just there. Better undo them. Aha. There's two more hidden ones up this flywheel end. We've got the one out of the hole there, nice and easy. And the one out of the hole there, nice and easy. But there is some that are recessed in the flywheel. I've had this before. There it's like a Mark II Golf or even the 20 valve turbos. But there's the bolt, but to get on it, you can't. You have to go in at a funny angle to get to them, because you can see it, but straight on it is here. A bit more fudging around. I managed to just get in there with a ball nose Allen key, because these have got Allen keys on the end, so I could just get in there at an angle like that and spin it off. Now we're off, we should. That's better. And we're off. I was just having a look in the bottom and I couldn't really see any visible signs of a crack. It must just be like a tiny fracture or something. Until I looked at this side and thought, that looks like a bit of a gap above the sump plug there. Looked on the outside. Ah, that'll be where our problem is. That's a lot of daylight. So you can see what's happened is pushed the sump plug up into the sump and smashed it at the back. Doesn't look like the cracks go any further up, so it's not done any damage to the top. It is purely the sump. Yeah, that'll do it. It's cleaned up in there so you can see how bad it is. It does look like it's hit the bottom where the sump plug is and then just pushed that into the back. You can see it is cracked all the way around, opened up and pushed itself into the bottom. On the outside, it's cracked all the way around there where it's bottomed up and just pushed this boss up and twisted it in, because that is, or was, the lowest point. Now it's pretty flat. So as always, I'm a glass half full guy, because this sump plug was always helicoiled and it's always a bit funny and it didn't seal that well. So it kind of could have done with a new sump anyway. So I think that has sealed the deal. We probably could bash that round, weld it, but it's cracked along here, 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 cracked all the way around there and along the bottom. So if it's the last sump in the world, maybe, but these are super common, so I'm gonna have a quick look what's available and just stick a new one on. That's been pretty impressive damage. So as suspected, it is as simple as a cracked sump, just that cast aluminium doesn't flex. If there's any force put on it, it just cracks, which is exactly what happened here. So it could be a weld up job. We have got the TIG here, but with this underlying sump plug issue, I think I'm just gonna get a new sump because they're nice and cheap. And luckily, it has not been a messy job because it left all its oil on the trailer and in the forest. There hasn't been any oil to leak out. So at least that's one good sign of this job. It wasn't as messy as I thought it was going to be. And if you're wondering why the number plate wasn't on, that's how close we were on the trailer. The front of the trailer was right up against the bumper and I didn't want that cracking. And that gave us a few more millimeters just to get the back wheels on the trailer. So let's start looking for a sump. While it's all off, I thought I'd check the oil pickup, check it wasn't gunked up with anything, which is not. But I looked in the side. You can see there, That's part of the helicoil from the sump plug. So there's a big shard of metal there. Not exactly what you want in your oil pickup, but the gauze has done its job. Another bit there. Get some pliers. Not ideal. There's a big one there. Look at that. Not what you want in there. Right, it's always been regularly serviced, so you can see in here, although it's black, there's no gunk, no sludge. You can see the bottom of the rods there. You can still read the numbers and the original barcodes from the factory. 246,000 miles. You can see up there, that's the bottom of the piston there. And the rods are like it's just been fully rebuilt. And we are back. It is a new day. After I finished cleaning up at the front yesterday, I went onto eBay, searched 19 TDI sumps, put in location, distance, closest first, but there was nothing really around here listed. So then I went for the cheapest one, looked for a couple of days delivery, and I found one that actually came off a 2-litre TDI, but it's got the same part number as the one I wanted. It's from PMS Prestige Motor Spares, which looks like a VW breaker. And I ordered that at about 3:30 yesterday afternoon, and 1:30 today, the sump turned up. So under 22 hours, it was at my door. So I just had a quick look and it all looks the right one. Just needs a clean up. So I got on the phone to Motor Parts Direct today as well, and they've sorted out my oil filter, because I thought as we're doing an oil change, we might as well put this in the service schedule. And I've got a new sump plug as well. So let's get this cleaned up, give it a double check over. Now I think we are ready to put it on. And we always use this L-ring sealant. It's really, really good. So I'll be using that. I might even take off the level sensor and just reseal that as we're empty at the moment. And we've got our new sump plug to go in as well. And with a little bit of elbow grease, we've got this one all cleaned out. All looking good as new. And it matches our old one, so that's good. Even got the bosses on the end for the boost pipe to go onto. So I've just taken out the oil level sender. So this is a little sensor that when your oil level gets too low, it brings up the light on the dash. So I'm just going to reseal that O-ring, which sits in there, because that is the very lowest part of the sump, so I don't want that leaking. Put a new sump plug in and get it on the car. I've just cleaned up all the faces under here. That's all clean and oil free to get back on. And still can't get over how clean this engine is. You'd never imagine this has done nearly 250,000 miles. Under here is just spotless. I've seen cars with 50,000 miles in worse condition than this. It is astonishing. But let's seal this up. There's no gasket, it's just all sealer. Bolt it up, get to those ones that are inside the flywheel. Those two little ones up there, they're a bit tricky to get on. With a bit of wiggling, you can just get up there. So we'll seal on this face and then put it all up with our bolts. And then torque it up. Right, let's seal it up. We don't need too much. Just enough to get a nice face. Nice. Then just going to put a little blob where the rear main oil seal meets the block. There's a little notch there. So I'll put a blob in there to make sure that's sealed both sides. There. And there. Just rub a bit in that crease. And that crease. Make sure that's sealed. Right, sump it up. Here we come. Get that boost pipe out of the way. Right, they're all in. Now we've just got these troublesome ones. Got to try go at an angle. Kind of hook it in. Might need a torch for this one. Oh, oh, oh. Tell you what, I think I've done that before. Yes. Right, one more. Go for the angle of the dangle. That's all of them. Plug our sensor in. Click. Got a brand new sump plug. 30 newton meters. Just got our boost pipe to put back on. Check. And as we're doing an oil change, we might as well make it a full service and change the oil filter as well. There's our old one. New O-ring. New filter. Good to go. And done. And we can put the... I've just seen the state of my face. I'm not sure how long that's been like that. Apologies for the black eye. But we can put the cover back on and we'll be ready for some oil. Just get this cleaned off. Right, it's actually the next morning. As I'm in no rush for it, I thought I'd let the sealer go off overnight, so it's all nice and sealed. So now let's fill it with oil and see if it stays in there. And doing better than the other sump already. As we're a bit up like a speedboat at the minute, I don't want to let it down yet before I put the under tray on, and I don't want to put the under tray on until I've made sure it's all right. So I'm just going to jack the back up, level out the car, and then we can run it and still check underneath and then put the under tray on. It's times like this, it would be nice to have a ramp in here, but that will do. Let's check the dippy, now we're level. Here, nice and clean. Usually you get a little bit of oil left in the sump, so it kind of mixes and turns black straight away. This is all clean. Let's see if we've been lucky and got away with the oil starvation. Woohoo! And no leak. It will live again. So I'll just let that run up for a bit. I don't know if you can see there. 245,998 miles. We're 2 miles off 246. Well, just had it running for 10 minutes and not a drop. So I'll get the under tray back on and I would say a great success. And just check the oil once more. You can see how dirty it looks just after literally a few minutes of running. It's not even moved yet. It's gone that colour already. Dirty diesels. Right. Under tray on. Just giving the under tray a good pressure wash off because that was covered in oil. And you can see in the middle there, it definitely got a good whack. It's put a hole in it there. So I'll just let this get off and we'll get that back on the car. Check. Back down. And legal again. And get rid of the stick of shame. Check. Right, I've just plugged in VAGCOM. Let's see how much we've shortchanged ourselves on this oil change. So minimum distance to service, 93 times 100. So service schedule is set at 9,300 or minimum time service, 372 days. Our actual time since last service is 200 days and 50 times 100, so 5,000 miles. So we're only about halfway. We're at 5,000 of nearly 10,000 mile service interval. So we were only halfway through the service interval, but regular services is never a bad thing. And you saw how clean the inside of the engine actually was, which proves this has always had regular oil changes, used quality oil, which has resulted in a spotless car done nearly 250,000 miles. So I'll reset this. New values have been successfully saved. So distance since service, 0. Time since service, 0. So we are on a fresh start. Back in. Right, ready for a test drive. From our big tidy up of fixing everything on the car, we are still running with no fault codes at all. And it would appear this is the offending article. So I came along here, the wheels dropped down that ledge, and it must have just donked the sump somewhere here, because there's no oil here, but this is where the oil trail starts. So you can see we've got a bit here, bit here, and then it carries on. Bit more of a splash here. And then you can follow my trail, dodging the rest of the potholes all the way around to where we were parked. Not the kind of trail you really want to follow. And we are back from the danger site successfully. I've just checked the oil outside and it is still spot on. Had a look underneath and there is not a drop of oil anywhere. So I will call that a 2 thumbs up success. So I think we have been very, very lucky with this. To punch a hole in your sump and keep on driving for as long as I did, I must have just turned it off pretty much as the level was just about to approach the strainer. And the second big bit of luck was we were in the middle of a muddy forest with a dead car. Luckily, we were well equipped to be able to recover myself. Otherwise, I think it would have still been there. And I would have been gutted if this had have died. I'm determined to get this to the 250,000. We're only 4,000 miles to go and it runs absolutely sweet. So from now on, as long as I keep this thing on the road, I don't think we'll have any trouble meeting that milestone. So obviously this was an unscheduled episode. This week should have been the unveiling of a massive new project we are starting at AutoShack. We have got a monster show car build that I've just started last week, but unfortunately I couldn't get around to editing it up because I've been occupied here. But I'm very excited about this one, as you'll be able to tell in the episode. So be sure to like this one, give the Golf some love, and if you're not subscribed already, be sure to subscribe for the next episode, where it's going to be a full build series of this amazing show car. So I'm going to be glad to get back in the Golf. I've been using the Zafira all week, but it's going to be nice to get a little bit of a fuel economy again, put the Golf to work and get to that 250,000. So until next time, make sure you have fun.